Okay, good evening, everybody. It is May 4th. When I woke up this morning, I had no idea it was Star Wars Day. I'm not a big Star Wars type of guy, but today is May 4th, so when I walked into the WeWork office I was working at, everything was Star Wars decorations, so I didn't really understand until I pieced two and two together. But regardless, moving on, happy May 4th to all of you. It was a big day on Wall Street. The markets took off across the board, talking about the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the NASDAQ, and S&P 500. Today was Fed Day. So yes, we heard from Fed Chair Jerome Powell, and they approved a 50 basis point rate hike. And they gave a little bit of guidance about, unwinding that behemoth $9 trillion balance sheet. They say it's going to start June 1st, where the Federal Reserve will start to unwind that massive balance sheet made up of mortgage-backed securities and U.S. Treasuries. But the Fed usually lifts interest rates in quarter percentage points, so they'll usually do about 25 basis point rate hike. So that for the first time since the year 2000, I believe since March of 2000, the Fed actually took the initiative to raise interest rates by 50 basis points. And I think the market responded relatively favorably. Now, this doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet, because if we look at the overall trend, the trend is still down. It was a follow-through day today, though, so that is the good news. But all of the major indices are still below their major moving averages, such as the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. But in conclusion, this will raise the central bank's benchmark Fed funds rate to a target range between 0.75 and 1%. Markets are responding pretty favorably. Everything took off to the races, up over 3% on the day for the NASDAQ. So let's see who we have in the chat here. Hey, Mr. Ming is here. Welcome. I see Michelle K says, hey, good evening, Tom and everybody. Hope you had a great day. Good to see you, Michelle, and happy Wednesday. Al J is here. Good to see you. Vinny Castellano says, good morning, my friend. Hope you had a great day. I had a really good day today, Vinny Castellano. So I know the, the Streams is walking Empire State Building to the 59th Street Bridge. I totally forgot to erase Empire State Building. We are here at Central Park South, so 59th Street, Central Park South, and we will be walking to 59th Street Bridge tonight. Hey, Lady O is here. Good to see you, Lady O, our moderator from the one and only New Jersey. Marcos' Bitcoin broke out of its downtrend. Thank goodness, ETH2. Good to see you, my friend. Victor Valdez is here. Says, what's up, champ? How's the weather? The weather is pretty decent tonight. Pretty decent. Not the best, but pretty decent. Tucson says, greetings from sunny Tucson. Life, liberty, and guns. Rich says, greetings all. Good to see you. Bernard Friedman, welcome. Felix, Dante Rose, Sally is here. KJ, welcome. Hope you're well, everybody. Dave is here. Savi, the investigator. Good to see you. So I'm going to put the phone down really quick. I got to put the laptop away, and we will be on our merry way, everybody. Beautiful night in New York City. I think we're going to be in for a treat to see some pretty nice views. But before we start, let's actually take a look in on futures. So I think futures are fractionally in the red, but pretty strong day on Wall Street. So if we look at the ES, S&P 500 E-mini futures, we're down about 2 points. So I'm just going to call that flat. I think that's pretty fair. If we look at the YM, the Dow Jones Industrials, we're down about 10 points. And the NASDAQ 100, the NQ E-minis, we're down about 6 points. So, one day doesn't make the market, right? One day doesn't make the market. So I don't want to get all excited here to say we are now in a new bull market, because we're still under all of the major moving averages, 50-day, 200-day. And we also heard some economic data, economic news out of the ISM. Hold on, let me adjust my wires here. We do have the microphone. Hey, Solo 401 is here. Solo, you missed the stream yesterday. We saw amazing views of your favorite building, the One World Trade Center. We were thinking of you yesterday. So it's good to see you, Solo. Hope you're well. But everybody, Central Park South, 59th Street, and Avenue of the Americas, 6th Avenue. And let's get started. Things are warming up. It was a good day. Ashley says, did you make your train last night? Oh yeah, I totally forgot to update you guys. Yeah, so the phone died on the way to the train last night, but I could assure you everything is fantastic. I made the train, and we have yet to miss a train so far on the stream. So thank you for asking. E says, hi Tom, is it a good idea to get cryptocurrency for my 17-year-old niece in Texas that graduates high school next month? So I think if your niece wants to learn a little bit about Bitcoin, what I would do is maybe just download a wallet, or even give her like a physical wallet and load it with, you know, $100 worth of Bitcoin on there, just so she could get to know what Bitcoin is. But I'll do you one better. This is what I would recommend. I would buy the Bitcoin Standard, fantastic book, for your niece, and I would give it to her as a gift along with like $100 worth of Bitcoin so she could understand how it works. This way she'll get a little bit of a broad-based education on what it is. NG says, hi Tom and friends, hello from Orlando. NG, what's up? Laura M says, hey Tom from North Carolina. Love North Carolina. Hope you guys are doing well over there. Robert says, I missed a super chat. Ooh, sorry, Miss Brown Eyes. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. You were way too kind to all of us on the stream. So Miss Brown Eyes, thank you so much. Miami Walking and Driving Tours says, good evening. Welcome, everybody. So once again, it is May 4th. Had no idea it was Star Wars Day today. So when I walked into my office, the WeWork office I was working out of, there was food, there was, they catered a bunch of awesome stuff for Star Wars Day. So it was fun. It was a good day. But aside from the big news on the street, obviously the Federal Reserve raised interest rates by 50 basis points. They did signal to the market that they will start to unwind their behemoth $9 trillion balance sheet starting June 1st. Starting June 1st. But I think the most notable thing out of the report, or out of the, I guess you could say the meeting, is Fed Chair Jerome Powell was asked, do you see or foresee the Federal Reserve raising interest rates ever by 75 basis points? And Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell really, I think, did a good job of downplaying that. He said, absolutely not. We don't think it's that serious. I think a 50 basis point rate hike will suffice. And I think the market, that sort of signaled to the market that the easy money is still going to come. So even though we're raising interest rates, if you think about it, a 50 basis point rate hike, I mean, between me and you, is not going to do much to fight inflation, right? It's more of just a virtue signal. You know, we'll cross the street. I don't think we usually walk on the other side of Central Park South. Very seldom do we go on this side. So we'll walk down here. But in terms of the balance sheet, the Fed is planning to start, they like to call it a runoff, about $47.5 billion a month, which in comparison to $9 trillion is not that much in the grand scheme of things. And again, this is just what the Federal Reserve is saying, right? It doesn't mean that they're actually going to do it. So I think from today's market action, it just seems that the market knows that the easy money is coming, but also this could have been a short covering rally. So even though we did have a follow-through day, which usually the rules are on a follow-through day, you do have to buy at least something. So I did have to buy at least something in my actively managed accounts. But I think the volatility around Fed Day could have forced some shorts to cover positions overall. And if you look at the stocks that were up really big, were all of the beaten down, I guess you could call them very high beta growth stocks. A lot of the stocks that are a part of like the Cathie Wood ARC innovative ETFs. So not out of the woods yet, but I think it is at least a decent start. But we'll definitely keep our eyes on it. Hey D, good to see you. Welcome. Hope you're well, D. Teresa's is very expensive real estate here on Central Park South. Yeah. So we're right outside the Park Lane Hotel, actually. Very beautiful hotel, actually fully renovated. So they did a complete and total gut renovation of the Park Lane Hotel here. And I actually stayed here over the holidays. I think it was about a couple years ago.
Marco paid for dinner, so we've established that someone else can pay for.
But Dallas, good to see you. JMTS Productions says, hey Tom, I hope you're well. I haven't caught the live streams lately. Well, good to see you, and thank you for being here tonight. Hope you had a good Wednesday. Already the middle of the week, which is kind of crazy. Tomorrow, Thursday, so looking forward to it for sure. Miami Walking and Driving Tours says, Tom, tough time to find liquidity for $500 billion a year. China used to cooperate, but don't think so right now. Like you said, it can't halt if it becomes a problem. Yeah, so I mean, I just don't know. You know, there's an old saying, you got to pay attention to what the Fed is actually doing as opposed to what they say they're doing. And the good news is we could watch in real time on the Federal Reserve's balance sheet if they're actually unwinding or not, right? If they're actually unwinding. And I think a lot of our conversations, especially over the past couple of days, have been, look, I think the market is doing a pretty good job of doing the Fed's job for it, right? Or pricing in this rate hike, or all the rate hikes, and potentially the, let's just say, the minimization of the balance sheet. Because a lot of the NASDAQ stocks have gotten crushed. You know, a lot of PE compression has been going on. You know, some of these names are down 70% plus, which is kind of wild to think about, but it's true. If you look at some of the smaller cap, the micro caps, high growth, a lot of these names have already been compressed a ridiculous amount. Jimmy T is here. Good to see you. Says hello. Welcome. JL says hello. Good to be here, Tom. Welcome, JL. So these are some beautiful pieces of art here. But in another piece of news, which I think is maybe even, well, I'm not going to say more important than Fed Day, but what I will say is that it is extremely important nonetheless. You know, we did get the April 2022 Services ISM report on business, and it did come in at 57.1%, but many economists on Wall Street were expecting about a 58.5% reading. So even though we're still in growth mode for the services economy, we did see some slight deceleration, and there was some comments from that report that was a little bit concerning to me to sort of signal a little bit of a slowdown in the economy. So I really want to go through each one of those by line item. So what I did is I programmed the Nightbot so you guys could actually follow along and really understand why the ISM numbers are so important, why the ISM report on business is so important. So if you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link to the full ISM report, the service sector report, that you guys can follow along on the stream, read it by yourself. Because here's something that's interesting about the report that I really like. As we pen up to 432 Park Avenue here. So the report actually interviews real people and real businesses on the ground in the construction industry, in the restaurant and service industry, in the hoteling industry. And they ask them, what are you seeing on the ground? What are you forecasting? Is business tapering off? Is business picking up? So a lot of traders on Wall Street use this information to position themselves accordingly in their portfolios. So if you type ISM in the chat, once again, the Nightbot will drop the link to the April 2022 Services ISM report on. Dissect them right here on the stream together. Hey, Shadowship is here. Says, hello, good to see you. Shadowship. XOXX Bob is here. Welcome. Tina Harris is doing good, my friend. How are you? Good to see you. Roy S is here. Mike S says hi. Miguel says it was my birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Miguel. Good to see you. Jay is here. Says good evening, Tom. Good to hear you. Did you make it home safely last night? So I did. I made the train just in the nick of time. Literally just as it was pulling out of the station too. AR says, be safe, good to see you. AR Kenneth, welcome, says hello from Cleveland, Ohio, good to see you. Kenneth. Brian Schwartz. Jackie, New York, says, hey Tom, how's it going? It's going good. I hope everything is going well on your end. So economic activity in the service sector grew in April for the 23rd consecutive month in a row. So the economy is growing, but if we really look into the report, we're seeing slight deceleration, and even a lot of economists were thrown off by this report because they were expecting about a 58.5% reading. We got a 57.1% reading, even though it was decent. It means the economy is growing. But we do have some slight deceleration. The reading came in 1.2 percentage points lower than the March reading, which came in at about 58.3, as we are standing right outside of the beautiful Plaza Hotel. And I'm going to pan up to the top of the building because the plaza looks amazing with all the clouds in the background. We may get a little bit of rain on the stream tonight, so I did bring the umbrella. So just prepare for that, everybody. I will let you know if it starts to rain so you guys can dress accordingly. Solo 401, good to see you, my friend. I appreciate that. Says, everybody press the like button to save a puppy, do your part. Agreed. Mike S says, the price of diesel is fueling inflation. Indeed it is. So crude oil, ticker symbol, or the futures, if we're talking about the futures, ticker symbol CL, really took off again today. I think, and you guys could fact check me if I'm wrong because I had a pretty busy day today. I think we're trading at about $106. I think we're trading at about $106. I see Marilyn is here. Good to see you, Marilyn. Says, hello, anyone going to the 32-mile Great Summer Walk on Saturday around the perimeter of Manhattan? Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. We may have to stream that if that's the case. I'm going to have to look into that. Interesting. Hey, Dallas from Texas says, hey, Tom, recently the U.S. Stock Exchange hasn't been this bad since March of 2020. Yeah, you're right. You are right. But we did have a follow-through day today on Wall Street. It seemed as if, we had sort of the buy the rumor, sell the fact, or in this case, the other way around. Because we did get a 50 basis point rate hike. And I think Fed Chair Jerome Powell did a good job at sort of massaging over the fact that in no way, shape, or form will we will ever increase interest rates in increments of 75 basis points. But usually, if we look back throughout history, usually the Federal Reserve likes to raise rates in increments of 25 basis points. So this, for the first time since I think March of 2000, did the Federal Reserve raise rates in increments of 50 basis points, which you and me know that's going to do really nothing to fight inflation. It just really signals to the market that they're at least attempting to do something about it. The big monkey in the room that we really have to worry about is the Goliath $9 trillion Fed balance sheet, which we did get a little bit of clarity on today when Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said that in June, or June 1st of 2020, or 2022, they will be unwinding that balance sheet to the tune of $43 billion, or $47.5 billion a month. But I guess we'll have to see if that's the truth or not. Because there's one thing to believe what they say or actually watch what they do. Tyler Silva says, hey guys, it is Wednesday. Good to see you, Tyler. Ethan G says, hey Tom, the Ukrainian flag. Good to see you, Ethan G. Hope you had a good day today. So we are on the corner of 5th Avenue and 58th Street, right across the street from that Apple store. Manny Explorers is joining us. Says, hello everybody. Good to see you, Manny. Richard says, howdy from Texas again. What's up, Richard? Good to see you. Cynthia Beals says, I joined Shore Walker's 5-year. Very nice. Tyler Silva's here. Amrui says, Tom, I follow you every night. Today, booking ticker symbol BKNG released EPS well above consensus. I would love to hear your comments on that. All the best on your travels. Hey, thank you so much. So I can't really comment on BKNG because I didn't follow that today. So I'm not really too sure how they reported, but there was one enterprise software company that I do follow that did report today. The company is called Twilio. TWLO is the ticker symbol. And if we remember correctly, two of their software engineers earlier this year were actually charged with insider trading. So if you guys, just as a reminder, please, it's not worth it. If you're a software engineer at Twilio, you're probably making $300,000 a year as it is. You don't need to do insider trading. Now you're going to go to jail. Now you ruin the rest of your life. So we're not doing that. No insider trading on the Walks from Wall Street stream. No insider trading anywhere. But Twilio reported a pretty decent quarter. But here's the thing, they're still not profitable. I can't buy a company, that's one of my rules. If the business doesn't earn money, if it's not profitable on an EPS basis, I'm out. Because these tend to be the companies that get creamed into the mud when the market turns. And I think Twilio is down almost 80% from all-time record highs. But revenue is growing. I do like the company. I think the CEO is great. I think the product is great. I actually interviewed for an account executive position at Twilio, an enterprise account executive position at Twilio selling into healthcare. I wound up not taking the job, but I think it's a great company. I think they will be profitable in due time, but one of my personal rules is I will not invest into a company that is not profitable. But I believe Twilio did beat on the top and the bottom line, but they did come in a little bit light on forward guidance, which was the only critique about that report. But going back to your comment on BKNG, I just can't really give an honest opinion on it if I'm being totally honest with you, because I did not follow that report, and that's usually not one of the stocks I cover. I usually cover a lot of the enterprise tech and enterprise software stocks. But thank you for joining the stream. Sunshine After Rain is here. Says, hey Tom and everybody, good to see you. Photos from around New York says, ooh, and Bitcoin went up today. Yeah, pretty much every asset class across the board got a little bit of a bid. It did count as a follow-through day because we did have a rally attempt yesterday, and then today the market closed higher than the previous day's close on higher than normal volume. But I'm very, very skeptical about this follow-through day for two reasons. Number one, it came on a day where the Federal Reserve was raising interest rates and providing guidance to the market. That's number one. And number two, we're still severely below the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. But sticking to the rules of slim investing, I did have to buy something in my actively managed portfolio, but I think this increases your risks exponentially. But if you follow the rules and if you buy on a follow-through day, and the market starts to pull you back in and we break above the 50 and the 200, it is game on. So we have to follow the rules, take our emotion out of it. But I think a lot of today's action could have potentially been short covering due to the volatility from the FOMC meeting, but that is all speculation. But tonight we're going to head to the 59th Street Bridge. We're going to take a walk over it. Hey, Diane Van is here, says listening and learning. Good to see you, Diane. James Tiger says, Tom, after 2000, the NASDAQ had 16 bear market rallies of 10%, averaging 22.7% before bottoming, down 78%. After 1929, the Dow had 10 bear market rallies greater than 10%, averaging 22.8% before bottoming, down 89%. James, thank you for that. That is always a good reminder that usually the biggest bullish moves come in bear markets. The biggest bullish moves do come in bear markets, mainly due to short covering. But I want to turn it back over to you guys, the audience. What are your thoughts about today's Fed chair meeting? What do you think about the 50 basis point rate hike? What did you think about Fed Chair Jerome Powell's thoughts or comments on unwinding that nearly $9 trillion balance sheet? And here's the last question I'll ask you guys. Do you believe it? Do you believe that Fed Chair Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve is actually going to start to unwind the balance sheet, or do you think it's all talk and they will continue to inflate as the months go by? Love to know your thoughts. Also, if you want to know a little bit what we're talking about, if you type IMS in the chat, it will drop the link to the April 2022 Services ISM report on business. So ISM in the chat. Today we did have the, it's ISM. That's my dyslexia kicking in. I jumble my letters and words around all the time. So ISM, and the Nightbot will drop the April 2022 Services ISM report on business. That did come in at 57.1%. Analysts and economists on Wall Street were expecting for a 58.5% reading. But here's the good news. I don't want to be all doom and gloom. The good news is that economic activity in the service sector did grow in April for the 23rd consecutive month in a row. So the service sector of the economy is growing, it is expanding, but this is why I wanted to give you guys a physical copy of the report, because it's one thing to look at the numbers face value, it's another thing to actually read the report, right? And I think a lot of people out there don't actually read the report. So here's what I mean. Let me cross the street without getting killed. All right, we're looking good. So here's what I mean. If you scroll to the very bottom of that report, it's actually my favorite part of the report, because the ISM actually talks to real business owners, individuals in construction, individuals in real estate sales, real estate development, other services like hoteling and food restaurant services. And they actually ask them questions about, what is the outlook of the business? Do you see your business contracting? Do you see your business growing? What is the demand levels? So if you read this report, you could actually get an inside scoop on what is actually going on in the economy. Because oftentimes what happens is you could have a really, really good report, and a lot of traders and analysts will make trades based off of the number itself, but not the forecast. And as we know, the market is a forward-looking indicator, right? So the market always likes to look forward. So if you have a company, this is just a very small example. Let's say if you have a company that reports blowout earnings, it beat on both the top and the bottom line, but the CEO gets on the call and says, hey guys, we had a great quarter, but next quarter, it's going to be a disaster. We're having multiple customers complain. We think they're going to churn. And we think our revenue is going to get cut in half. You know, if you traded off of just one good earnings report, you would have a problem. So the forward guidance is always the most important. So in looking at these reports, if we could actually get an inside scoop of people who actually work in real estate, who actually work in construction, who own restaurants, well, we'll have a pretty good idea about how the economy is going to perform moving forward. And in this particular report, there were some concerning statements, especially out of the construction and real estate sector. And we will go over that in just a minute. But once again, if you're just joining the stream, if you type ISM, the Nightbot will drop the April 2022 Services ISM report on business, and you guys could read the full report for free, as we are here on Madison Avenue. Hey, Tin Man is here. Good to see you, Tin Man. Welcome. Fernando is here. Says hello. Good to see you. Harrison is here. Good to see you, Harrison. Happy Wednesday. Bernard Friedman, British Gray is here. The one and only British Gray from Tampa, Florida. I hope you're having a good one. Teresa Roberts says Tom Powell and the government should stop lying and distracting the American people. I agree. Dallas says, looks like a beautiful night out. It is. Corey says, Tom, they can't unwind. They are in too deep. It will be much less than what they said, and it will take forever. So Corey, I'm sort of in the same boat as you. I almost don't even know how it's possible to unwind this balance sheet, because essentially we are in a perpetual debt cycle, a perpetual debt bubble. And in order to keep the system going without a cataclysmic collapse and sort of a Mad Max environment, you need additional debt on top of debt, on top of debt, on top of debt in order for the system to self-sustain. But then again, look, I'm not trying to be a predictor, I'm just trying to be a trend follower. But I think it's going to be very, very hard for the Federal Reserve to actually unwind the balance sheet without causing an economic recession. James Tigers says, Tom, it's the biggest debt bubble in history. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Hey, Harry says, I'm looking at Billionaires Row. Yeah, so technically this is Billionaires Row. 57th Street. You were just looking at 432 Park Avenue. But we are going to head towards the east side because we're actually going to be walking over the 59th Street Bridge. I thought we might as well walk over the 59th Street Bridge today because we walked over the Brooklyn Bridge and Manhattan Bridge this week. But this building is One Vanderbilt right here. And we'll have a pretty good view of that as the stream progresses. Gregory says, Tom, what are your thoughts on inflation? So my overall general thoughts on inflation is knowing that we had a CPI print of about 8.9%. If we take that data into consideration and say, okay, what if we ran the numbers exactly how they did it back in the 1980s? What would inflation actually be today? And it'd actually be a lot higher. The CPI would probably be around 19%. If we actually use the same metrics that we used in the 1980s. And that's why many economists and many analysts on Wall Street, they criticize the way the CPI is calculated today, because they don't really think it gives a good projection and an honest projection of inflation. I think I'm in that same boat. But what about you? Hey, Patricia Ivory says, hi Tom, I subscribed, but I never get notifications. So I think YouTube is a little bit weird now. If you guys want to get notifications whenever we go live, you have to make sure you hit the bell notification and scroll down and click all notifications, because if not, you'll only get notified about 20% of the time. Harry says, have you passed 157? We have. My chat is going crazy here. Hey, Iris Lou says, good evening, Tom, and good evening, everybody. Hey, good evening to you. Lena Sandoval is here. Corey says $9 trillion is crazy. Yep, that is the Fed balance sheet. So with the 50 basis point rate hike, that will raise the central bank's benchmark, it's called the Fed funds rate, to a target range of 0.75 to 1%. So still really nothing, right? Oh wow, check this out. So everybody, this is Park Avenue now, 57th Street. But check out the top of this building. I don't think we've ever seen the top of this building from this angle. So it sort of has like a waterfall effect coming down from the top. Pretty unique. And it looks awesome in the midst of all the clouds too. And then if you look to the right of your screen, the massive building right here is 432 Park Avenue, which is the Billionaires Row building. Jay's like, Tom, you're skipping the Williamsburg Bridge. Jay, we're gonna save the Williamsburg Bridge for tomorrow. Nicaragua's here, good to see you. Mona says, hello from northern upstate New York. Love upstate New York. So when I went to the 2022 Bitcoin conference in Miami, there was actually a lot of talk about investing in upstate New York because upstate New York has a massive amount of untapped hydropower. And I think that a lot of investors, a lot of Bitcoin miners that have a lot of money would love to build the turbines to utilize 100% clean energy to mine Bitcoin in upstate New York and take the excess energy that they produce from mining Bitcoin and sell it back to the grid and hopefully make energy prices a little bit cheaper for the citizens of upstate New York. I think that would bring an economic boom to upstate New York, because if we think about New York State as a whole, the majority of the economic activity comes out of downstate. So you could talk about obviously New York City, which would be the 5 boroughs, Nassau and Suffolk County. But when you the further upstate New York you venture, tend to be a little bit more economically depressed places. So I think as a New Yorker myself, I don't want just downstate New York to be prosperous and win. I want everybody to win. So I think Bitcoin mining is a very interesting way to do that, judging by the fact that we have so much untapped hydropower in New York. So it was interesting. I was talking to a lot of VCs. I was talking to a lot of current Bitcoin miners. Blockware Solutions, I got to meet the whole team there. So shout out to Blockware Solutions. You guys are amazing. And I think it would be a really great opportunity to sort of tap into that untapped hydropower up there. Mona says you're 4 hours north of Albany. Very nice. Harrison says, what does it mean, Billionaires Row? It's really just arbitrary. It's just where all of the buildings are that are extremely, extremely expensive. Hey, Elliott Wave Review is here. Good to see you, Elliott Wave Review. Says, hi, Tom. Do you think preppers were right this whole time while we were making fun of them? They've been stocking up on silver, food, and ammo. Yeah, I mean, I don't really, I wouldn't say they were right or wrong. I always tend to lean bullish on life in general. I don't think it's any way to live if you just stock ammunition and tuna fish in your shed. I mean, I don't think that's really any way to live. I'm really under the impression that no matter what happens, it doesn't matter if the S&P 500 is down 500 points. It doesn't matter if the Dow is down 2,000 points. Entrepreneurs and small business owners and people that are actually trying to build in the economy, they're going to build. They're going to go to work. They're going to wake up and do it regardless of the market situation. And I think that's what makes America so great. And I think that's why we've been able to come out of crises time and time and time again, because we have a system here in the United States where essentially if you come here and you work hard, you can create something of yourself. And if you're an entrepreneur, you come here all over the world. The United States is a brain drain. Nobody's going to China to start a company. They're coming here. We have the best universities in the world here. The best entrepreneurs come and build businesses here. And as they build those companies, they're going to need to go public. They're going to need to raise capital. That's when the equity capital markets come in. They're going to IPO. Those companies are going to hit the stock market for people like us to invest in and continuously grow our wealth and get rich. So I think so long as the golden goose of capitalism stays intact in the United States of America and it doesn't get crushed by all the nonsensical socialism ideas, we're going to be just fine for years and years to come. Now, we may have recessions, we may have stock market crashes and panics. That's almost guaranteed. But I think what's almost guaranteed is the American spirit always wins through. And let's put it this way, if the Dow is down 5,000 points, I'm still going to go to work. I'm still going to work on my company. And I think millions of other Americans will as well. So, I mean, should you be smart and be prepared and have canned food and stuff? Yeah, I mean, I guess. But I think if you live your life just hiding out in a shelter with ammunition, I mean, what's really the point of life? I mean, that's just my view. Jay says, I'm a small business owner. Love that, Jay. Love that. So this is right outside of 432 Park Avenue. Beautiful public space out here. I'll show you guys all of the trees and the marble floor. Hey, Con here says, I came to Vegas with $4 million. Now I have $53. Jesus. Ron Metro TV is here. Good to see you, Ron Metro TV. I hope you're well. Jamie Massetti is here. Welcome. Eugene is here. Says, I'm thinking about moving to Alaska when I turn 20. Very nice. Alaska's very beautiful. YCA says, we are in debt with China and other countries, massively in debt. Lori E is here. Welcome. Mona says, I live about 20 minutes from the Canadian border. So which town is that in upstate New York? I believe that is Oswego. Is that correct? Oswego, New York? Or Owego? So that is 432 Park Avenue. But now we have to head to the 59th Street Bridge. So we're going to walk across the 59th Street Bridge. I think we're going to see a lot of beautiful views today or tonight. So hopefully you guys stick around for that. Photos from around New York says SUNY Plattsburgh or Plattsburgh. I think Plattsburgh also has a college. I think it's in the SUNY system or the State University of New York. SUNY Plattsburgh. And I also think Potsdam maybe too, right? Maybe I'm getting them confused. Hey, Insurance Practice Exams is here. Welcome. S says, I wish I was that optimistic. Well, you know, there was a big study that just came out that says if you watch the Walks on Wall Street stream, your optimism will increase by a minimum of 60% per year. Now, I may sound biased, but the data is pretty conclusive. It's all over the internet. Elliott Wave Review, thank you so much for the $6.99 CAD. You are way too kind. Thank you for the donation. This is beautiful answer, Tom. Love it. Bullish on life and entrepreneurship as well. We just need smaller government, though. I'm in big favor of smaller government. Huge favor of smaller government. But thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it. I really do. It helps the channel prosper. So here's another one of my favorite buildings in New York. I'm going to try to zoom up to it. But this is right near Grand Central Station. You can see the MetLife building right in the background. Fantastic. And we are on Park Avenue. Yeah, photos from around New York says the Hemsley building, the jewel of Park Avenue. Beautiful building. I'm just trying to adjust the camera here. All right, we are good. So going back to that report real quick, the ISM report, the services report, the 17 services industries that reported growth in April, they actually listed them in order. So let's go through each and every single sector, because I think it's pretty interesting, and you'll see why I want to mention that in a minute. The number one reason why I think it's important to think about this is because when we're trying to structure a traditional investing thesis, what you want to do is you want to start from the top down, right? So from the report, if we understand that, oh, maybe manufacturing is not doing well, maybe construction is not doing well, right? And I'm just saying that as an example. Well, then maybe that's not an industry sector that you may want to invest in. So a lot of the times we look at these reports, these ISM reports on business and services and manufacturing, to get a broader general understanding of the overall health of the economy. So for example, if we look at the report and they interview a person in the construction business and they said, hey, you know, single family homes are going to boom. We have so many new permits. The demand is there. Well, then maybe you want to look at some home builder stocks, right? So I'm not saying that's what the report said. I'm just giving you guys an idea of how to build an investing thesis. You want to start from the top down. So what is the macro environment looking at? where is the demand in the marketplace, and what is the total addressable market, and then you want to whittle that down to the stock level, right? So in April 2022, the Services ISM report on business came in at 57.1%. That was below the 58.5% that economists were expecting. But the 17 services industries reporting growth in April are listed in order. First, with the strongest growth was construction, then utilities, real estate, rental and leasing, food services, accommodation, public administration, education, scientific administration, mining, transportation, and warehousing. So pretty interesting, and I was actually surprised by this because I actually thought that warehousing was going to be a little bit higher up on the list. I thought that warehousing was going to be a little bit higher up on the list, not assuming, but knowing that ever since the pandemic, we've had this huge boom in e-commerce, right? And if we have a huge boom in e-commerce, we need warehousing infrastructure in order to distribute this stuff via 3PL. So construction grew, utilities obviously, because we're in a huge energy boom, commodities are booming. Real estate, rental and leasing, which really wasn't too surprising because rents are on the rise. I see hers in the house, says we have those flowers here in Mexico as well. Love that. Love the tulips. Hey, the ABX girl is here. It says a new story about 800 per month pods and 14 people living in one house. We're renting a home in Palo Alto. Jeez. So ABX girl, you're talking about, well, I mean, I think that happens here in New York too. You know, you'll have a bunch of people grouped together and live in one individual house to sort of save on the rent. So even though the rent is $10,000, they'll slam, a whole startup company in there and use it as their office. Now, that is horrible. That shouldn't have to happen like that, but unfortunately it does. But you know what's interesting, ABX girl? It's interesting that you bring that up. So I was talking with somebody on Twitter today, and we were talking about this exact same thing, about like some of the most ridiculous living situations. And I posted a picture of my first ever New York City apartment. And I thought it was rather funny, and everybody got a kick out of it. So if you want to see it, if you follow Walks Wall Street on Twitter, I was saying, look, when you're young, you could afford to live in a crazy living environment. I actually lived in my brother's friend's closet at Columbus Circle. It was literally a closet. I just rolled out a yoga mat, went to sleep, went to college, went to work. But I think if you could do those things when you're young and sacrifice when you're young, you won't have to do those things when you're older. So when you're 17 and you're living in a literal closet, nobody's really going to bat an eye because you're a 17-year-old kid. You could afford to do that stuff. But when maybe you're 50 or 35, I think that's probably not the opportune time to be living in a closet. So my mentality has always been, the younger you are, you want to ratchet up the level of inconvenience in your life. So the younger you are, you want to inconvenience yourself so much to the point where it almost becomes mind-numbing. You want to be working yourself to the bone, you want to be grinding, you want to be minimizing your expenses as much as possible. And as you ratchet up your income, and as you get older, now you've earned that privilege to be able to, start to live like a normal functioning person. And that's sort of how I always thought about it. So if you guys want to see that photo, check it out. I was talking with some fellow, tech people about crazy living situations. Brian is here. Good to see you. Hey, Matthew Carducci is here. Says hello from Virginia. What's up, Matthew? Hope you're doing well. Bella says hello. May the 4th be with you. Absolutely. May the 4th be with you as well. Rob DeCaro says, Tom, don't forget Mother's Day is this weekend. Don't forget to bring flowers. I will not. Well, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Much appreciated. We wouldn't be a functioning society without functioning mothers. So go out there and thank your mom. I thank my mom. Thank you, Mom. Appreciate it. Mike Bell says, hello, Tom from Ohio. Good to see you, Mike. Love Ohio. Harry says, Tom, Los Angeles or Manhattan, which do you prefer? So I think I'm going to be a little bit biased and say Manhattan, mainly because I've never been to LA. So I'm not saying that LA is a bad place, I've just never been there. Fantastic Frankie, good to see ya. Eugene, good to see ya. Hey, Ahmed is here. Welcome, Ahmed, says hello. How is New York? New York is doing good. Metalhead Tom says this is tight. I've never been to New York. Thank you, Metalhead Tom. So Metalhead Tom, we are on Lexington Avenue now and East 58th Street. We got to go one more block and then we're going to walk 59th Street Bridge. Eyeglass Lady says, young people don't want to sacrifice anymore. Good evening, Tom and everybody. Eyeglass Lady, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. You know, I believe in my fellow Gen Zers, I think. I like the Gen Zers. So check out this building. The top is all lit up with the Ukrainian flag. Very interesting design concept here in this building, too. Harry says, our knowledge is incredible. Where did you go to school? I went to school right here in New York at John Jay College. You know, John Jay is actually a criminal justice school. And back in the day, it used to be an all-male college. So there was no women that ever attended the college. It was really just a police academy for the NYPD back in the day. And it was an all-male school. And I think in the 70s, don't quote me on that, but I think either in the 70s or 80s, they transferred it over to co-ed. But maybe if there's some fellow CUNY students or alumni in the chat, maybe you could fact check me on that. But I'm pretty sure it used to be a male-only school, I think, for the NYPD Police Academy. Ahmad is here, good to see you. British Gray says happy Mother's Day to all the ladies in the chat. Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. So this is Bloomberg. This is the Bloomberg building. Bloomberg was also the mayor of this city at one time. Hey, Maria's here. Says, hey, Tom, I like the Upper East Side and the Upper West Side. It is quieter. I agree with that. Mr. G says, what do you think about Munger slamming Robinhood? I actually agree with him, and I think I've said this a lot on the streams that, you know, during this whole 2020 craziness with everybody on Robinhood, they're essentially just gambling. And the reason why I don't respect Robinhood is because they are intentionally trying to encourage negative investment practices. And when you're dealing with people's money, you know, it may seem funny, you know, when you're in your 20s or 30s, but as you get older, you look back and you're like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have taken my life savings and gambled it on AMC and GameStop. And I think Robinhood is a very disingenuous platform. I think it borders on unethical. But again, these are only my personal opinions. You guys don't need to agree with me. These are just my personal opinions. Because even though it's a gag and it's funny to, you know, sort of post on Reddit and things like that about, you know, YOLOing options and derivative products that many users on Robinhood don't even really know even how to build or structure one of these options contracts. I think it's very dangerous because when you buy a stock or you buy an option, you have confetti blowing in your face and it's almost like a gambling platform. And I think it teaches the wrong behavior. And again, it may be funny when you're a college kid, but it's not funny when you get close to retirement age and you're like, wow, I probably shouldn't have developed those bad habits. Now, I'm not saying Robinhood should be held responsible for that, But I mean, their platform is really obviously geared towards just turning people into like gamblers and just trying to turn over their account with the confetti blowing everywhere and all this nonsense. But that's just my view on it, so I agree with Charlie Munger. Hey, Fantastic Frankie is here. Good to see you. So check out this bar here. It has a pretty cool rooftop. Well, maybe I shouldn't call it a rooftop. Let's call it a balcony. Very cool. Hey, Matthew, this is Tom. What do you think about Vanguard? Yeah, so I like Vanguard a lot. So Vanguard was founded by Jack Bogle, or John C. Bogle. And I think that Jack Bogle probably has done more for the average retail investor than anybody on Wall Street has ever done. Because essentially back in the day, and you guys probably remember this, but back in the day, the vast majority of mutual funds on Wall Street had egregious fees. They had extremely high front-end load fees, extremely high back-end load fees. So when you wanted to buy a mutual fund, and oftentimes they would underperform the general market, you'd have to pay 5% just to buy into the fund. And if you wanted to sell, they would hit you with a back-end load fee, and you would have to, charge another 5% just to sell. And Bogle, or John Bogle, Jack Bogle as he was called, his nickname, really put a stop to this. And he's like, what if we can give the average investor exposure to very, very low-cost index funds that track the overall broader stock market? The fees will be less than 0.5%. There'll be very, very little to no management fees. I think now if you buy ticker symbol VOO, which is one of the exchange-traded funds that Vanguard custodies that tracks the S&P 500, I think the management fee is 0.03%. So extremely low fees. So judging based upon the fact that if the majority of mutual fund managers do not outperform the market, so you're getting less return than the overall market, but you're even paying more, I think the best thing to do for most people is probably just to buy into an index fund. But I'm more under the impression that you should probably do both, especially if you are into actively managed money. If you're in the business of either managing your own money, or maybe you're trying to raise money for a hedge fund and going the OPM route, other people's money. I think you should probably have one retirement account that you set it and forget it and dollar cost average into the S&P 500. But then you should also probably have an actively managed account to try to generate alpha, right? To try to beat the market, because Peter Lynch is another one of the mutual fund greats. He used to be at Fidelity's Magellan Fund. And he said, look, you can't beat the market if you buy the market. So with my personal money, I have a retirement account where it's all indexed, all of it. And I never touch it, and I'll never touch it until I'm probably 65. But then I do have actively managed accounts where I try to beat the market. But everybody, here we are. It's going to be a long walk, but I'm glad you're going to be walking with me. We've reached the 59th Street Bridge. We haven't been over here in a very, very long time. So I'm pretty excited to be walking over the bridge. Pretty excited. Santo, good to see you. All right, everybody, this is the entrance to the bridge, the Ed Koch Queensboro Bridge. But I think the walking path is over here, so we're gonna have to go over here. Hey, CS says good evening, good to see you, CS. Jimmy B is here, welcome. Ballin' Bobcats is Tom. Robinhood did remove the confetti, but I agree the gamification is not healthy. I used it first because it was the first to have free trades. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. And it's funny. The biggest criticism of Robinhood is the payment for order flow, but I actually don't think that's a big issue at all. I think people are totally missing the point. Payment for order flow is not a bad thing at all, like at all. Yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy to let Citadel Securities and Two Sigma and Jump Trading steal a couple pennies from me when I'm trying to fill my position. Like, who cares? I mean, the reason why retail traders are losing money is not because Ken Griffin at Citadel is making a couple points off the bid, between the bid and the ask. That's not the reason why. But Metalhead Tom says, we've got 2 Toms, we do. But everybody, if you like our conversations and you want to follow us more, if you scan the QR code on your screen, it will take you to the landing page of the Behind the Street newsletter. So I write a free investing newsletter for everybody on the channel that I do send out every single Tuesday after the market closes, except this Tuesday because we are doing a little bit of migration work on the newsletter. But if you want to be kept up to date on not only the equities market, but the emerging markets, as well as cryptocurrencies, the fixed income market, and just on the broader economy in general, if you scan the QR code, punch in your email, and I will send you a free investing newsletter every single Tuesday when the market closes. We'd love to have you on board. But now, most importantly, everybody, let's begin our walk over the bridge. You're right. So Sunshine After Rain is our great moderator on the channel. If you want to learn a little bit about payment for order flow, if you type !order flow in the chat, it'll drop an article where you can learn a little bit more about payment for order flow. Hey, Smee Media says, Tom, Sunday, will you take us up to the Roosevelt tram? We may do that. The Roosevelt tram is right here. Maybe we'll do that on the weekend when it's light out. I just don't like bringing the camera either on the subway or in any type of enclosure with other people, because some people don't like it and I want to deal with people being disgruntled. London Calling says, I can't see the picture of the closet apartment. Yeah, I mean, but that's like the standard. New Yorkers live in very, very small spaces. So in cities like New York and LA, I think people are used to living in very small spaces. Some more tulips here. Smee Media, it's good to see you. Carl is here, says, hi Tom, did you make your train last night? I was watching when your battery died. Yes, so we did. We did. Harry says, do you trade Forex? I do not trade Forex. I do not. But yeah, so I did make the train, so no worries. I appreciate the concern. We did just make it. So thank you everybody for the concern. And unfortunately the battery did die a little bit early last night. Savannah says, hey Tom, do you ever plan on coming to California? So I do, especially now that a lot of the COVID stuff is over. I'm planning on traveling a lot more. Smee Media's like, yeah, Tom, that makes sense. Yeah, because sometimes, like, if I think about it, like, if I take the subway, especially now, I don't really want to film there, because, oftentimes there's very erratic people, and sometimes they're homeless people, and it sort of makes you stick out, right? And I don't want to have to deal with people freaking out over the camera. Vinny Castellano says, do you think the Fed is late raising interest rates? Yeah, I think the Fed's a little bit behind the curve, but we did get a 50 basis point rate hike today. But here, I almost think that the question was staged. I forget who the analyst was that asked the question, but the Federal Reserve or Fed Chair Jerome Powell was asked, are you guys expecting to raise rates by 75 basis points to really go hard on inflation? And Fed Chair Jerome Powell said specifically, he's like, no, we don't need to do it. No worries. Don't even worry about it. So I think that was just a way for him to, hold on one sec. I think this is the walking path. Yeah, it is. This side. I think that was a way for him to calm the markets. I don't think interest rates are really going to, I don't think raising rates is really going to do anything to tame inflation. I mean, what is 50 basis points going to really do? I mean, that's just my opinion. Do you really think that a 50 basis point rate hike is going to do anything to help out with inflation? Probably not. I think it's more of just a virtue signal to the market. The biggest thing is that $9 trillion Fed balance sheet. That's the big one. But Fed Chair Jerome Powell did give some guidance on that as well. He said that they will be going to unwind that $9 trillion balance sheet. Yeah, so just so everybody knows, this is the walking path. So this side is for the pedestrians, this side is for the bikers. Harry says, Tom, what is your favorite book? So I think the Nightbot has a list of my favorite books in the chat. But I like Margin of Safety by Seth Klarman. I think that's a great book. Carson says, Tom, he said that they'll begin the runoff in June with an arbitrary date. Do you believe that? So I think that's the comment of the night right there. I think you hit the nail right on the head. So I always say, it's not what the Federal Reserve is saying, it's what they actually do. And I think that's why we may have had a little bit of a bid in the market today, because maybe the market is calling Fed Chair Jerome Powell's bluff. It's possible. He said June 1st is when they maybe start to unwind the balance sheet, but I don't know if he's actually going to do it. Because if you think about the situation that we're in, we are in a perpetual debt cycle that in order to sustain, it needs more debt. It needs the acquisition of more debt. So I don't know if he'll actually do it or not. Hey, Lockjaw, good to see you. But if you guys want to see more of my takes on the market in more written format, if you type !news, NEWS in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link to the Behind the Street newsletter. It's a more conclusive place where I could get my thoughts out, because sometimes on the stream, if we have cars whizzing by, things like that, sometimes I don't have the opportunity to get my complete thoughts out there. So feel free to sign up !news and click the link that the Nightbot will drop, and you can sign up for the Behind the Street newsletter for free, and I'll send it to you every Tuesday. So here's the view from the 59th Street Bridge. Continue to walk over. Wow, everybody, check this out. Look at this. This is a beautiful view from 59th Street Bridge. Check that out. Hey Carson, thank you so much for subscribing to the newsletter and checking us out on Twitter. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it very much. Liquid Nate's follow-through day. Yeah, so today was actually a follow-through day. I'm not sure how reliable it is going to be, but if we follow the rules of Can Slim, which was coined by William J. O'Neill, the founder of Investors Business Daily, we do have to buy something on a follow-through day, usually the stocks that are showing the highest relative strength and the companies that are compounding out their annualized growth rate by at least 25% per annum. So the main things that I look for when trying to make an investment is, number one, I want to look for a company that is doing business in a massive TAM, or total addressable market. Number two, I want to make sure that the company is compounding out its annualized growth rate, or EPS, earnings per share, at about 25% quarter over quarter. I want to look for revenue growth that is growing at 25% quarter over quarter. Return on equity is huge, very important. Return on equity, you want to look for at least 25% return on equity, and then phenomenal pre-tax and after-tax margins. And then to top it off, you want to make sure the stock that you're looking at has great institutional sponsorship. So what are the best money managers on Wall Street, the best mutual funds? Are they in that stock, right? Because at the end of the day, the market is supply and demand. And in order for a particular security to move up in price, you need a composite operator, which are the large institutions on Wall Street, to be buying your stock. And institutions, they look for very good quality companies with earnings and sales growth. So that, in a nutshell, that's really what I look for. But check out this view. Hey, Carson says, I was really impressed with Airbnb's earnings. I was too, and I think that really solidifies the idea from the investment banks that consumer spending is turning towards more services than durable goods. Eyeglass Lady says, Tom, what river is that? This is the East River. The East River. All right, let's continue on our walk. Hey, Lisa White, 123. Good to see you, Lisa. Hope you're having a good day. So sometimes the internet can be a little bit spotty on the bridge. So if we start to buffer, I apologize. Just let me know. MBA Elias says, hey Tom, good day on Wall Street. Good to see you. We have Jeff W277 says, Tom, do you buy the explanation for why the market turned on a dime today when it did after Jay Powell said no 75 basis point rate hike? I feel a bunch of institutions decided to buy now and give a reason later. I think that's a good point. Well, I think there's two things at play here. Number one, I think the biggest thing of the day, and this is just my opinion, I could be totally wrong. Again, this is an opinionated thing. If we look at the futures market, we knew that there was going to be a rate hike today, at least 50 basis points. And everybody knows that raising interest rates by 50 basis points is not going to do anything to fight inflation. The biggest thing was that balance sheet, the $9 trillion Fed balance sheet, because that's what's propping up the stock market, is the debt acquisition of mortgage-backed securities in U.S. Treasuries. So Fed Chair Jerome Powell said, yeah, we're probably going to start to unwind the balance sheet June 1st at $47 billion. So I'm not so sure that the market believes Fed Chair Jerome Powell. I'm not sure if the market believes that. I think the market thinks that there's no way that the Fed could stop buying assets because the market that we're in requires the acquisition of more debt or everything falls apart. So that's sort of my thesis. Oh, check out the tram going by. So again, that's not fact, that's just what sort of my thesis is. But also, I think today was a lot of short covering. I think there was some buying in the market that led to a lot of shorts on Wall Street covering their positions. So even though we did have a follow-through day today, I'm very skeptical of it, but I did buy in my actively managed account because we had a follow-through day and I have to follow the rules. But if I get stopped out and lose some money, so be it. But today was technically a follow-through day. So this is a beautiful view of the East River, everybody. If you're enjoying the stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. Yeah, Carson says, I personally think it's a false bullish signal. Well, you could potentially be right. You could potentially be right. This could have been a very, a lot of short covering rally. Because Carson, to your point, a lot of the stocks that were up big, that were up really, really big, were a lot of the beaten down, very high beta junk stocks with no earnings. So this could have been just a short covering rally. And, for a little bit of data, for the first time since the year 2000, I think it was March 21st, 2000, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates by 50 basis points. If you guys want to go back to a chart of the S&P 500 to see what it was doing on March 21st, 2000, let me know. But at the end of the day, I have to stick to my system, and if it's a follow-through day, I have to find at least something on the market that I think is really good quality to buy. But look, if I get stopped out and if the price falls 7%, I'm out. But I really only risked about 1% of equity today. I was very skeptical. I think the market, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Hold on one second. Okay, we're all good. They're still under the 50-day and 200-day moving average. And if we look at that 10-year U.S. Treasury today, the 10-year U.S. Treasury broke above 3% again, but then fell back down to about 2.93. So I think so long as that 10-year Treasury could stay stable, I think there's a good chance that the follow-through day may stick, but I think the probability is still very, very low. But at the end of the day, I'm going to let the market pull me in one way or another. But we'll have to see. Yeah, and look, this year has been tough. This year has been really, really tough. You know, we had a follow-through day. We covered it on the stream about a month ago. I risked about 2% of equity, was stopped out. So I'm getting chopped up a lot this year. But I mean, then again, everybody is. You know, Tiger Global, which is one of the best hedge funds of all time, is down 50% this year. So here we have the Roosevelt tram. Check it out. Wow. You know what, everybody? You know, maybe what we'll do is we will walk across the bridge and then we'll take the tram back to Manhattan. But I'll let you guys decide. Should we take the tram back to Manhattan? We'll see. We'll see. Oh, actually, we can't. We can't. Never mind. I forgot. Hey, Jerry, what's up? I don't think we can because this is Roosevelt Island. We're going to go to Queens. I forgot. So you can see all the bikers coming over here. All right, let's continue, my friends. Hey, Jobel is here. Says, hey, Tom, shout out from Washington, D.C. Good to see you, my friend. Hey, Rich, says, Tom, have a raffle and take 10 of us along for the ride. I'm down. Well, the thing is we can't because this bridge, we're walking to Queens. The tram takes you to Roosevelt Island, and there's no way to walk here from this bridge. So maybe if we have time, we'll take it, but if not, we'll see. Hey, John is here, says shout out from New Jersey. Hey, John, good to see you. Alton says that's right. From the bridge, you can't get off the island. Yeah, I mean, I wish they built some stairs, but I think it'd be way too steep. Dan says, do you live in the city? So I don't live in the city anymore. I used to. Now I am back and forth between Long Island and Miami. Hey, Mike Bell says natural gas are a worry for the winters. Indeed. Jimmy T says that tram is cool. Good to see you, Jimmy T. Welcome. All right, I'll stop and give you guys another view. Zapatatis is from Queen. There is a bridge to the island that might be used to walk. Yeah, but that particular neighborhood, we'll see, we'll see. Hey, Dan Zhang says, you're literally walking towards my neighborhood. I live in Long Island City. Love Long Island City. You know, Long Island City has a lot of good places to eat. So Dan, I used to take the Dan Zhang. I used to take the 7 train to Vernon Jackson Boulevard and walk across the bridge to Brooklyn when I used to live in Greenpoint. That was an awesome view from that bridge over there. Maybe we'll do that tonight. But then again, on that bridge, there was a lot of seedy characters, and I'm not sure I want to deal with that tonight. But we'll see. Bruce Wayne says, what is a DC character? No, I said seedy or shady characters. Hey, Lynn says, hey Tom, good evening, loving the views tonight, they're spectacular. Well, thank you for joining us, I appreciate it, and I hope you're having a good Wednesday. Hey, ALH says, Tom, what train do you take to Long Island? I used to take the Port Washington to my place. Hey, awesome. So I'm on the Babylon line. So the Babylon line goes Jamaica, Rockville Center, Baldwin, Freeport, Belmore, Wantagh, Seaford, Massapequa Park, Amityville, Copeg, Lindenhurst, and Babylon. I'll go this way so she doesn't have to go here. But South Shore, Long Island. John says, Tom, are we going to walk over the Brooklyn Bridge tonight? We walked over the Brooklyn Bridge last night, so not tonight. Hey, Jasmine is here. Says, Tom, I drive through the Queensboro Bridge to Manhattan to work every morning. Awesome. Dan says, I used to take the Long Island Railroad all the time to Stony Brook University. You know, Stony Brook is a really, really good school out on Long Island. That's way, way out in Suffolk County. But Stony Brook is a fantastic school. Really, really good school. So for those of you who are just joining, if you type !ISM in the chat, I want to drop everybody the ISM report that came out today so you guys could read it. And just to let you know, these are the April numbers, obviously. But today, before the market opened, the April 2022 Services ISM report on business came out. So ISM, !ISM in the chat. We had a reading of 57.1%. Now, even though that signals growth, it was significantly below what many economists on Wall Street were projecting, which was a reading for about 58.5%. Now, there's a very funny saying that the only 2 jobs that you can get where you could always be wrong and still keep your job is number 1, a meteorologist, and number 2, an economist. So economists are often always wrong, so take what they say with a grain of salt. Oh, I think we have people playing baseball here. But economic activity in the service sector in the United States grew in April for the 23rd month in a row. However, the reading came in 1.2 percentage points lower than the March reading, which came in at about 58.3. So even though the economy is growing in the service sector, we are growing at a slower pace. So slight deceleration there. All right, let's continue. So once again, click the link that the Nightbot dropped down and read through the report, because it's not only that the numbers that matter. I mean, I think the biggest thing that matters in the report is to actually read what many people in the construction industry, in the restaurant industry are actually saying. So if you scroll to the bottom of the report, that is when you get to all of the comments. So the comments are the most important thing in the report, in my opinion. And just a quick, I guess, update. If it sounds like I'm screaming into the microphone, I can't really tell how loud or quiet my voice is because the cars are so loud here, I can't even really hear myself think. So if the audio is a little bit too loud tonight, it's just because I can't really hear anything. So I think this is Queensbridge right here. So for all of our New Yorkers in the chat, I do think this is Queensbridge, right? And I think this is where Nas grew up, right? You know, I'll tell you a little bit of a funny story about Nas. So Nas obviously is an extremely talented rapper from New York. And you probably know Nas from his very famous album Illmatic. So when I was a teenager, hold on. So when I was a teenager, I had a little bit of a job washing cars on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. So I used to work at the Enterprise Rent-A-Car on 83rd Street between Amsterdam and Columbus Avenue. And I first started off, I was a service agent, so when people would return the cars, I would like vacuum them out and wash the cars and things like that. And then I later moved into like an internship in sales, but I did that when I was a teenager. And I actually worked with Nas's brother for about 3 years. And I didn't believe him at first when he told me, he's like, yeah, my brother's Nas, but I work with Kiani. His name is Kiani Olu Dara. That's his full name. So Kiani is Nas's brother, and Jungle is Nas's second brother, but from another marriage, I guess, is is where Kiani comes into play. Very nice kid, super talented. And then he went on to work at his brother's record label. So I think Nas has his own record label now. I haven't spoken to him in a long time, but really, really nice kid, super talented musician, super talented producer. And yeah, I just thought that was kind of cool. So I worked with Nas's brother Kiani. And at first, everybody in the office, we were like, there's no way, you're lying. But Nas actually that year, I think, came out with the documentary. And he was in it. So it was kind of cool. So anyway, I'll digress. But I thought that was a little bit of a cool story. Oh, we got the spam bots. Got to delete them. Yeah, I see Daryl here from Chicago. Welcome. Dan Zhang says, Tom, do you work in the financial industry currently? I don't. So I'm in enterprise tech sales. So I sell software and hardware into the Fortune 500 and Fortune 50. So that is sort of the path I took. So during my senior year of college is when I started as an account executive at a major telecom company. And that is sort of how I broke into tech sales. And then I worked my way up into the enterprise tech sales. But yeah, I mean, to your point, that was my original goal. I originally wanted to be in sales and trading on Wall Street in that department, sales and trading. But found myself in tech sales. But what about you? Would love to know what industry you're in. Bruce Swain, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. Hey, Michelle McGraw is joining us. What's up, Michelle? Hope you're well. Michelle is our good moderator on the stream. But not for nothing, if you want to learn a lot about finance, this answer may surprise you, but if you lurk around financial Twitter, there's actually a lot of very, very prominent hedge fund managers on Twitter that share their thoughts readily. I've actually made a couple connections just from being on Twitter, talking back and forth and DMing people. So Twitter is a great resource, especially in the financial industry, if you want to network with people who work at major investment banks or large hedge funds, or even fellow, enterprise tech salespeople or software engineers. A lot of people are on Twitter. So if you want to connect with us on Twitter, you could follow @WalksWallStreet. It's always a good time on Twitter. Somebody says, have you ever been in one of Nas's shows? I have not. I have not. All right, we're almost off this bridge. Almost off. Not for nothing, everybody. I'm looking forward to getting off the bridge. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. You get photos from around New York. You're so right. Yeah, so right across the street, and I don't really like talking about it because I guess Seinfeld doesn't really like people knowing where his garage is, but it's right there. I used to see him all the time filming that show, getting coffee with comedians in cars. I think that's what it was called. But yeah, the Upper West Side is a nice place. Jasmine, I did go there. Dan says, do you think the luxury apartments built in Long Island City recently have gotten a bit too crazy? On average, it's around $3,000 per month for a one bedroom. Yeah, I think it's really crazy. I think it's really, really crazy. Wow. Well, lovely noise from up on top of the bridge. But going back to your comment about rents, so if you open that report, the ISM report on services, there was actually one of the comments there was specific towards rents. And they were talking about how interest rates are not only impacting the rental market, but the housing market. So one of the comments came out of a construction company, and they said that they do see that interest rates are putting a little bit of pressure on demand. But once the stream ends, I'll make sure to post the link to the ISM report. Also, I'll post it on Discord. For those of you who are a part of the Discord, I'll make sure I put it up there for you. But everybody, we made it. Good job. Good stuff. That was fun. So now we're here in Queens. And that was a good time. That was awesome. So we might as well walk around a little bit. Whew. Wow, so peaceful here. In comparison on that bridge, wow. So we'll walk around a little bit in Long Island City. James Brumley says, except for the winters, I wish I could move to New York. Yeah, the winters are brutal for sure. Hey, SD Rob. Good to see you, SD Rob. Samantha R, good to see you. Let's walk this way. They really come flying out of that bridge. So I think this is where JetBlue's headquarters are. You know, JetBlue is a New York company, which is nice. Key Breeze says, any good walking shoe recommendations? Not really. I walk in, I'll show you what I'm walking in today. So these are $10 shoes I got at Walmart back in Miami. And they're perfect for destroying as we walk about a half marathon a night. So I figure if I go through about one pair of shoes a month, it's gonna cost me under 150 bucks. Which I think is a pretty good deal. Hey, WW is here, welcome. This is all the way to Queens. Yeah, so we walked across the 59th Street Bridge. We had a really good view of Roosevelt Island, also the East River. I had a good time. You know, only about, I remember coming here in like 2013. None of this stuff was here, nothing. I mean, these apartments are really, really nice. Just look at all these brand new apartment complexes and office buildings here. Harry says, will you do a Miami stream? Yeah, so we do about 2 weeks in Miami, 2 weeks in New York City, depending on business. But yeah, we always do Miami streams as well. Hey, Arturo Flores is here, welcome. Charlie Richardson, always good to see you, my friend. Patricia Ivory is here, welcome. JMTS Productions, good to see you. Dan says Long Island City could be Amazon's other headquarters in a couple of years. Yeah, so I heard about that. Also, I mean, you guys are gonna kill me. I say this almost every stream and I keep forgetting. In the Lord and Taylor building, which tech company bought that? Was that Facebook? Was that Amazon or was that Microsoft? I keep forgetting, I apologize, but Line Sync says, what was there pre-2013? It just wasn't as built up, I would say. It wasn't as many, like you wouldn't see luxury apartments here. Yeah, I think they were probably just breaking ground on those apartments. But now it's like really, really nice here. Under this bridge. Gothamist says, WeWork bought it. Are you sure? I don't think so. Hey, Eric says, hey guys, greetings from South Mexico. Nice to be watching with you. Thank you. Good to see you, Eric. Hey, Bagels and Walks. Good to see you. Kiki Lawrence says it was Amazon who bought Lord & Taylor for $1 billion. Yeah, I knew it was one of the tech companies. I just forgot which. Hey, 48 says, evening Tom, how has your day been? My day's been really good. My day has been really good. It's even better now that I'm streaming with you guys across the 59th Street Bridge. But I had a lot of meetings, I had a lot of good meetings, productive meetings, moving things along. Middle of the week, can't complain. All right, let's roll. The scaffolding is so crazy here in Long Island City because there's so much building, so much construction. British Grey, good to see you. Welcome. The Metro Mover is the train that we have in downtown Miami, Brickell area. And the Metro Mover is so smooth, it doesn't make any noise. You know, the Metro Mover reminds me a lot of the Air Train from JFK. Very similar style. And there's no conductors either. Everything is all automatic, which is nice. So here we are, 27th Street. All brand new apartment buildings. You know, if I'm gonna spend $3,000, I mean, I'm not gonna live here, I'm gonna live in Manhattan, but I mean, that's just me. Because not for nothing, it almost seems like this is more crowded and more noisy than Manhattan, in my opinion. All right, so everybody, we will cross the street and make our way back to the city. Yeah, so that's a good point. So Dan Zhang says, Tom, I got my apartment during the peak of the pandemic. I got a great deal. That's exactly when I got my apartment. I was able to score a studio apartment on Central Park South for about $2,000. So I can totally understand. You probably got a crazy, crazy deal here. But this looks nice. Everything looks all built up, brand new. Check out all of these apartments. Everything looks 100% redone. And I mean, the views must be incredible from here too. You got a bodega on the corner. Hey, Lady O is still here. Says you had a really nice view from your apartment. Yeah, I had a crazy view. You know, I think Central Park South is one of my favorite places in the city. But unfortunately, definitely can't afford to live there anymore. But you know what? I actually did lock in that deal to rent it again this year. But I found... Oh, we actually have to go across. I forgot. There's no walking path on this side. I forgot. But actually, I locked in the deal to only have a $100 increase in rent for this year. So my landlord was so happy that I moved out. And the only reason why I moved out is because I found a property to buy in Miami, which I thought was a pretty good investment property. So I'm like, even though I do want to stay Central Park South for one more year with a really good deal, I got to do what's right for me and the business. So, but you know, we were actually covering on the stream, I think about 2 months ago, that the median rents in Manhattan have reached an all-time record high again. $3,400 a month is the median rent in Manhattan. Crazy to think about. Carson says, are you into real estate at all? So I'm just getting into real estate. I just bought my first investment property in Miami. So I'm looking to acquire some more properties, but probably not anytime soon. Hopefully interest rates will put some pressure on home prices. So maybe I could scoop one up at a cheaper price. But even with the inflated housing prices, I mean, the deal cash flows really well. And I got a 3% interest rate, so it's pretty much free money. Being that inflation is, the CPI is at about 8.9%. Hey, Joey Coffee is here. What's up, man? Good to see you. So everybody, Joey Coffee is actually the owner of a local coffee company here in New York called Cafe Ami. So go check him out. Very good stuff. He actually sent me a couple things for free, which I appreciate. So check him out. But Joey, tonight we walked across the 59th Street Bridge and we were talking about the Federal Reserve raising interest rates 50 basis points. And they're supposedly going to unwind that balance sheet at about $47 billion a month, starting when? Starting in June 1st. Well, an arbitrary date, but so we'll see if that materializes or not. And we also talked about that ISM services report. Even though the economy in the service sector did grow, we had slight deceleration from last month and a couple of questionable comments out of the report. So Joey, if you want to see that report, I'll post it in the Discord, or if you type !ISM in the chat, you can read the entire report yourself. But let's start our walk back over the bridge to Manhattan. Hey, DM is here. Says, yes, Tom, there's so much development in Queens. I have lived in Long Island City and Richmond Hill. Love that. I think they should make it a little bit more biker and walker friendly because it's so confusing. Like, check this out. So the bikers come off here, ripping down here a million miles an hour. And then you have this crazy intersection where bikes are whizzing in and out, cars going by. So I think the engineering here is really poor, but that's just my opinion. Because there's too much stuff going on here. I guess you call that poor civil engineering design, perhaps. Yeah, Ladio's like very skateboard friendly. All right, everybody, so let's head back across. We're gonna have good views this way. You know, maybe we'll be able to see the One World Trade Center, the Empire State Building, perhaps. So let's get started. Yo, the one and only, talking about Miami, here we go, Action Kid. AK, I hope you're having a good week. Says, I hate that intersection of Queens Plaza and Crescent Street. Yeah, I mean, to your point, it's so confusing. You don't know what bikes are coming, scooters, cars, and the traffic is insane. You know, and AK, I don't know what you think, but even this, I don't like this at all because the bike lane is too narrow and the bikes come over to the pedestrians and the bikes go way too fast. So I think they should figure out how to expand this some way, but it just seems a little bit dangerous. I mean, I haven't seen a crash going over the bridge, thank God, but I could only imagine the amount of bike crashes and things like that. Hey, Joey says, by the way, are you guys going to be in Miami for the F1 this weekend? No, so I'm still going to be in New York this weekend, but I may fly back to Miami early next week. But then May 25th, the week of May in New York, but I'll be in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I have to client, so I'll probably be back in New York around that time. Yeah, AK, you're right. This path is horrible. Hey, Joyce Carter's here. Good to see you, Joyce. So, Action Kid, what do you think about the Fed Day today? All major stock market indices were up big. But I feel like there was a little bit of short covering action today on the street. You can see a little bit of the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building. So try to look through the bridge here. I'll zoom in on the Empire State Building for everybody. So this is a view of the Empire State Building from the 59th Street Bridge. And if you guys are enjoying the stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. Yeah, Dan Zhang, you're right. Dan Zhang says, Tom, the market rallied after Powell said they're not. Wow, check out that shot of the Empire State Building. Wendy England says, Tom, which Bitcoin broker do you use? I use Gemini. That's awesome, wow. Hold on, I'm going to try to get the Chrysler Building for everybody too. Hey, Roberto Castro is here. Welcome, Roberto. Hey, we have Abdullah. What's up, Abdullah? And I see Muhammad. Welcome. Always good to see you, Abdullah. And always good to see you, Muhammad. Okay, I got it. So here's the Chrysler Building, right here. And then you got the Empire State Building, Chrysler Building. So right there, one, and then two. You could almost get them in the same shot, but the bridge is a little bit in the way. So tomorrow we might as well go over the Williamsburg Bridge, since we've almost hit every single bridge in the city. We might as well do Williamsburg. Wow, that looks crazy. I wish you guys were here walking right with me, because this looks insane here. Really nice. Hey, Eyeglass Lady is still here. Thank you, Eyeglass Lady, for watching. Wendy England says I would be crawling on my hands and knees. Joey Coffee says, Tom, what are your thoughts on the Gemini card? So I think it's a unique concept. I like it because if you put your daily expenses on it, instead of getting cash back in terms of like rewards on hotels, you could actually just convert it right into Bitcoin. which I think is cool. So I like it. I give it 2 thumbs up. Hold on, let me cancel out the spam bot here. So I think it's really good. But then again, as interest rates are going up, you never want to carry a balance on a credit card, especially now that rates are going up. So I think credit cards are good to have if you put your regular expenses on them and just pay it off in full every month. But I liked it. It was good. So here we still have a little bit of a view of the Empire. Jeez, that guy was flying. Oh, this is going to be a good shot. You guys are going to like this. Guys, check this out. Hold on, let me get it. So now the Empire State Building is its classic white color. Really nice. GX72. Did I make tons of money today? No. Working on it. I'm working on a couple big deals, but the sales cycles are so long. It could take about 8 to 12 months for a deal to come through to fruition. So you got the construction workers on the bridge.
Yes.
Hey. Huh?
Huh?
I'm saying hey.
Huh?
Huh?
What are you recording?
Huh?
What are you recording?
The bridge. Just saying hi. Lady O's is the Empire State Building signature white. Yeah, I think I liked signature white the best, although during Christmas I think I like it with the tricolors with green and red. So that was a classic New York conversation. Huh? What? Huh? Huh? Wow, a lot of scooters coming over. Yeah, that's how we communicate in New York. Wow, beautiful view from here. Jerry says 11:05. Ooh, we have to pick up the pace a little bit. Oh, but we could see the World Trade Center from here. So I'll give you guys a shot of the World Trade Center. So here's a shot of One World Trade. I think this guy's walking on the wrong side. Yeah, Joey. Savannah says, Tom, do you have a WhatsApp? I don't use WhatsApp. Unfortunately. So here's a view of the East River. Hey Gregory, good to see you. I think we can get one more of the World Trade. Yeah, Charlie Richardson says gorgeous. Abdullah, great view. Joey Coffey says Gotham. Yeah, it does. So if we walk about a couple more feet, I think this is an even better view because you can see all the bridges too. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed that view. Yeah, that car engine reminded me of being back in Miami. Hey, Vinny Castellano is still with us. Good to see you, Vinny. Western Mass Dave, welcome. So we're about halfway over the 59th Street Bridge, and then we will walk back to the Moynihan train station. So 34th Street, Penn Station. Hey, Brad's Brain, thank you for joining tonight. Much appreciated. All right, one more view, and then we're gonna head off the bridge. But once again, if you guys are enjoying the stream, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new, as we have a beautiful view of the East River here. Ah, 1111, thank you guys. Hey, Roxanne Robles is here from LA. Good to see you. So we're walking across the 59th Street Bridge today. Almost to the end. We got a lot of spam tonight. Lisa says, Tom, don't miss the latest Frontline. We won't. Hey, Roy S says, I think Tom will put a poll in the community channel asking us to choose a favorite bridge. I will. That I will do. Hey, Ali Star says the walk up Broadway was also brilliant last night. Thank you. Appreciate it. Mr. Ming, thank you so much. Wendy England, that's too funny. So up here you guys are going to see an even better view, I think. here's the tram coming by. Somebody says, does the tram operate all night? I'm not sure about that, actually. Not too sure. Okay, everybody, almost over. It's a long bridge tonight. You know, I think probably the views are a little bit better from Williamsburg, but I think tonight was a pretty unique view. Very rarely do we get to see the Upper East Side, so. Somebody says, is the subway still $2.75? I believe it is. I believe it is. Western Mass Dave says, Tom, it's good to see some new perspective. That it is. Agreed. So I'll show you guys one more view before we get off the bridge. And it's going to be the FDR. Ladios' car needs a new muffler. Ladio, when was the last time you were in New York? I know you say you come in sometimes, but last month, got it. Hey, Friendship Lights, good to see you. Hey, DM says, Tom, the tram lost electricity over the East River for 5 hours in April 2006. I remember watching the news for hours. Wow. So what do you do in that situation? Well, I think you could take the subway, right? Ooh, you mean it lost electricity when people were in the air? Oh my God, that would freak me out. That would freak me out. Hey, Arturo says, Tom, are you biking? No biking today, we are walking. But good to see you. Fantastic Frankie says, I missed the subway tokens. Well, now before you know it, there's not even going to be any Metro cards. It's all going to be Apple Pay. Which I like. I'm a big fan of Apple Pay. Alright everybody, so we have now officially crossed the bridge. And we will now head down to the Moynihan train station, which is going to be good. Jay says, Tom, how is the battery holding up? Battery's not too bad. We're at 20, I think we're at 19%. So I think we're going to be able to make it all the way back to the Moynihan train station. So, Eyeglass Lady says, kudos, Tom, on 15,000 subs. Wow, did we hit 15,000 subs today? Well, if we did, thank you everybody for subscribing to the channel. When I started this, I had no idea that we would be streaming for 600 people a night. I had no idea people would be interested in financial talks and walks / skateboarding. So thank you everybody for joining. It's been a blast. I think starting this channel is probably one of the best things I've ever did. You'd be surprised at all the amazing people that you meet. I think I've made some really good connections, and I've enjoyed talking with you all every day after work. It's definitely something to look forward to, for sure. I know I look forward to it every day. Joey Coffee, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. And big thanks to all of our moderators. So our moderators do a fantastic job of blocking the spam, keeping things on the right track. So big thank you to all of our moderators. So Michelle McGraw, Sunshine After Rain, Lady O, and everybody. Photos from around New York, appreciate it. NNB045, thank you. That's kind of crazy to think about. 15,000 people. I mean, that's enough people to fill up like a very small sports stadium. That's insane. It's incredible. So once again, thank you everybody for subscribing. Much appreciated. But right here, you can see the 432 Park Avenue. I think the thing that I like most about streaming is not only does it force me to get probably a lot more exercise than I need, but I mean, we have an unbelievable diverse group of people in terms of, not only different countries, but so many different people that, work in healthcare. Lawyers, doctors have reached out to me. Investment bankers, major Wall Street analysts have reached out to me via email saying they watch the show. Obviously a lot of, enterprise software salespeople, tech salespeople, software engineers. I think we have a ton of people in unions too, like Local 14, a lot of tradespeople. So, I mean, if there's anything we need, we could just ask somebody in the Walks on Wall Street group. We pretty much got it covered. So, it's been awesome to meet so many different people through the stream. You guys are fantastic. WW says, Walks on Wall Street, take a look at my question. Let me scroll up to it. It was hard to kind of read it on the bridge. WW says, Walks on Wall Street, Tom, can you make a living on 600 live viewers on YouTube? You definitely can on Twitch because of their subscriber culture. You can make good money with your views. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, oh, hold on, let me cross the street. This bus is not paying attention. I mean, honestly, I'm not really, even though I do turn monetization on, it's not really a huge push. For me, I just really enjoyed doing it. But I would say from the viewership we're at now, and I don't really monetize it, it's just about, I do turn on the ads and things like that. like the advertisements. It does cover just my mortgage, which is something. But I mean, I think for me, it's just about the relationship building and how many people can I connect with. You never know. I mean, somebody watches the stream, maybe we do a deal together. We're good friends for a lifetime. You never know. It's interesting how the world works. And also, I think a big thing is, every single night on the stream, I usually try to prepare a specific topic or talk about a very, specific thing or an earnings report or something like that. And as you talk about those things, it sort of reinforces those ideas. So I think it helps me from an investing standpoint, because if I'm sharing an investing thesis for 600 people, 600 people, the odds are not everybody's going to agree with me. So it sort of keeps me on my toes to understand different perspectives. And many of you, send me emails after the stream and said, "Hey Tom, I really love the stream, but here's where I disagree with your investing thesis, and here's why." And I think that's probably been the most beneficial, is to have 600 people, an audience or more. Sometimes we have like 800 people concurrently viewing the stream. All of those people to be able to give me different ideas and different perspectives on building sound investment thesis. And a lot more people have a ton more experience than I do, right? So I get a lot of good advice, a lot of good networking opportunities. So I think that's where I see the most value for sure. And it's just, it's a blast. I love doing it. And I think you guys are very interesting. Everybody is so different on the stream. Everybody is very different. So I think it's a blast. So check out this building. The top has the Ukrainian flag on it. Sleep music says, "Watch out, man, you might get mugged." Well, what if I'm doing the mugging? Does the mugger ever get mugged? Leah says, "Hey Tom, congratulations on 15K. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for watching. Whew, man, it feels like I'm up in the mountains now that I'm off that 59th Street bridge. My eardrums are rattling and my brain is definitely clanging and banging around in my skull. Talk about crazy noise level there. Hey, Jetstar's here. Good to see you, my friend. Steven, welcome. WW says, "Tom is such a way with words." Yeah, but I think those are definitely the best, the beneficial things that I get from the stream. Also, I think it really helps with articulating viewpoints. So from a public speaking standpoint, in my job in enterprise tech sales, oh my God, that guy scared the hell out of me.
Our show is so exciting to partner with
Whew, yeah, I mean, wow, they have that audio cranked. But, from a public speaking perspective, when I'm trying to articulate a point, if you do that for 3 hours or 2.5 hours every single night, you're probably going to get a little bit better on articulating your viewpoints, trying to interact with different people, because everybody in the chat has such a different personality, right? So I think from that standpoint, it probably helps me a lot in sales too, as I'm presenting to clients, making pitch books. So I think it helps me from a perspective as a writer too. Because if you think about it, writing is not just about putting pen to paper. Writing is about thinking and idea generation. And I think the stream is a perfect place for idea generation, in my view. I mean, if you can brainstorm with, 600 people every night, there's no better sort of writing workshop than that. Abdullah is here. Cosmo's scary. So speaking of our moderators, Cosmo is a great moderator. He's been with us for a long, long time. So Cosmo, thank you for being a great moderator on the stream. Much appreciated. So now we're back in Manhattan. We are going to be at Central Park South once again in about 5 minutes here. And then we are going to walk down 5th Avenue all the way to 34th Street, where we will see the Empire State Building, and then we will call it a night. Eyeglass Lady, oh my God, that is so true. So Eyeglass Lady says, in my experience of substitute teaching, now I have no fear of presenting to groups. Yeah, so I mean, early on in my sales career, I was petrified. I remember in my first B2B sales job, on my first B2B tech sales job, when I went on my first in-person appointment, I remember my hands were shaking. I was like, oh my God, I don't know, like, why are my hands shaking? But I think as more repetition, it becomes second nature. And now I present to boards of directors like it's nothing. It's like an everyday thing. But it wasn't always like that. So another good view of 432 Park Avenue, and an even better view. So you can see the reflection of the little walking sign guy right here. This is 1 Vanderbilt. Could we do a quick time check in the chat? I just want to make sure I am on time to get my train. 747 says, Tom, do you think the Rangers are going to beat the Penguins? I have no idea about hockey, but I'm just going to say that I hope they do, because Rangers are a New York team. And I definitely do hope they beat the Penguins. Ooh, 11:35, we're running a little bit late. So we're gonna have to pick up our pace. Yeah, we're gonna have to pick up the pace a little bit, my friends. Hey, design ideas. Yeah, I think the Winklevoss twins are going about things the right way, I think. Because I think if you really want to see Main Street adoption of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, you need to do it the right way, right? You got to take the approach of being civil with the regulators. And that's why I use Gemini, because they're compliant with all the regulators and they want to do it the right way. And I think Kevin O'Leary did a great job of explaining that as well. That if you ever really want to see institutional adoption or institutional players like the big sovereign wealth funds get involved in the buying Bitcoin, you need true concrete regulatory clarity or regulatory clarity from the SEC. You do. But if you guys want to read a whole article I wrote, because I was so lucky enough to get a press pass to the 2022 Bitcoin conference, and I had the pleasure of meeting Kathy Wood. I met some really, really big fund managers, Dan Tapiaro. Dan used to work under Stanley Druckenmiller. If you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, It'll take you to a link to the Behind the Street newsletter, where you could actually read my entire write-up and my thoughts on the conference. So a little bit of a summary of the main keynote investing speakers. But I think the highlight of the conference was actually Orlando Bravo. And Orlando Bravo he's the founder of private equity firm Thoma Bravo. And Thoma Bravo only specializes in enterprise software. And I actually think they just made their newest acquisition of SailPoint. So SailPoint, cybersecurity company, ticker symbol SAIL. They were just taken private by Thoma Bravo. So if you want to read that report, just type !news, NEWS in the chat, punch in your email, sign up for free, and you'll receive an investing newsletter every single Tuesday. As we are here on Madison Avenue and East 56th Street, near the Trump Tower. I think we'll just make it. Johnson says hello, good to see you. All right, we'll cross. $11:39. Okay, we got to start to hurry up a little bit. And I think my phone is on 10% battery, but I think we should make it. So it's good that we're walking down Madison because we're about to see Jeffries, which is, I think, one of the more unique buildings, I would say. So right to your right is the Jeffries building. I can't really pan up and show you guys the top. We'll have to do that on another stream because I got to make my train. Hey, Andy is here from South Korea. Good to see you, Andy. Always a pleasure to have you on the streams. So speaking of South Korea, I think today is a holiday in South Korea. I'm not sure what the exact holiday is called, but I think it has to do something for the kids, like a holiday for the kids. So happy holidays to everybody in Korea. Okay, 52nd Street. You guys are going to see the very back end of the one and only St. Patrick's Cathedral. Atomic Sounds. This is, do you ever show your face? So if you want to see what my face looks like, you could follow me on Twitter at Walks Wall Street, and that should satisfy those needs. Hey, Vinny Castellano, always appreciate it. Vinny, send my regards to Maria Castellano as well. I hope she is having a good week so far. This is the St. Patrick's Cathedral to our right, and the New York Palace to your left. Andy says, good to see you, Tom. And yes, it is a holiday. So Andy, do you know what the holiday is called by chance? I'm curious. I'm not sure what it is called. Hey, FredX. Good to see you. WW, good to see you. So if the phone dies, I just want to say thank you, everybody. I think we hit 15,000 subscribers on the channel tonight. So thank you for being a part of the channel. It's been a blast doing these live streams for everybody. It's something I look forward to every day, talking to everybody. I think we have a pretty cool group here. You know, and even though we may not all align on everything, I think this is the only group on the internet where we could all get along and be civil, regardless of, you know, our political opinions, our investing opinions. And so that, I want to say thank you to everybody in the group for that. It's very rare that you have a group like that, especially in times like these. So you guys are fantastic. And that's what keeps the idea generation machine flowing. So to that, I appreciate everybody. Because we may not agree on everything, right? But we do get some exercise. We have good idea generation. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters, guys. Wow, check out these American flags here. So this is right outside the Saks Fifth Avenue. Love how they have all these American flags here. Wow, check out the Empire State Building. I think that's one of my favorite colors that they have. And I think it's all lit up for the NYPD, I think, right? Or the police. So could we do another quick time check in the chat? I just want to make sure I'm pacing myself appropriately. Ton of construction going on here, guys. Lady O says 11:44. I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to make it just right on time, as we always do. Yeah, we're good. I mean, we still have to keep going, but I think we will just make it. Hey, Sonia C, good to see you. Mr. Ming says, Tom, I'm going to go out for a walk after this. Love that. So we're passing the Diamond District in New York, West 47th Street. You'll see the diamond lamps here. Western Mass Dave says, always have faith. 46th Street, Little Brazil. Hey, Paul says, would love to see this walk during the day. You know, I really want to start streaming during the day, but I can't. Pretty much the entire day I'm working. Up until about 7:30 at night. So we usually go live 5 days a week. at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys want to see more live streams, usually we go live at right about 8:30 after work. Hey, Paul says great walk. Anyhow, thank you, Paul. Lady O 1147 will just make the train. You know, I really wish that the Long Island Railroad East Side Access Project was open, because if it was open, I could just go right here to Grand Central Station and we would be early. We would actually be early for the train. But I think it's going to be a little bit longer until it's actually open. But once again, one of the main topics for the stream tonight was the April 2022 ISM service numbers. So if you type !ISM in the chat, you will be able to read the entire report. I think it's a very good piece of economic data. But I will be posting that in the Discord after the stream has ended. Hey, Dan says, I think you just walked past my office. Nice. This is a nice location for an office. Right here next to the one and only Steven Schwartzman building. So Steven Schwartzman made all his money in leverage buyout deals, or LBOs. And we actually just heard from Steven Schwartzman when Blackstone reported earnings last week, or I think 2 weeks ago now. And their real estate business did phenomenal, crushing returns in the real estate business at Blackstone. So here's the New York Public Library. So if you guys ever want to use Bloomberg terminals for free, if you walk across the street to this building, go to the 5th floor, free Bloomberg terminals, great resource. They're free for anybody to use. Michelle McGraw, I know, 2 nights in a row where we're cutting it close for the train. But we'll get it done, we'll get it done. Hey, that crazy Disney lady is here. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining.
I love the guys you work with. Yeah, show up different.
All right, can we do one more quick time check? Just want to make sure we are good. $11:51. Ooh, we'll make it. I'm not worried. I'm not stressed. We're good. So the battery's 3%. So we'll just stream until the phone dies. But I could assure you I will make the train. So not to worry. So if the phone dies, I'll see everybody tomorrow. So tomorrow we will be streaming 8:30 Eastern Standard. We're going to have more interesting financial topics. And we're also going to go over the Williamsburg Bridge. So we're going to see more views of the city from the Williamsburg Bridge. Almost there. Samantha R, appreciate it. Abdullah, thanks for watching. Yeah, happy Cinco de Mayo as well. May 5th. Hopefully we'll make this light. So 35th Street, one more block, and we're there. MBA Elias, thank you. Joey, thank you for the stream, my friend. All right, we'll see a quick view of the Empire State Building. All right, we are in the home stretch. We are in the home stretch. All right, let's do one more time check because I think I got